Good evening everyone, welcome to Velocity Racing League V8 Supercars Championship. This is the 13th round at Newcastle. We're in the 22nd qualifying session of the season. We've got a top 10 shootout for this one, around the streets of Newcastle. Nick Mello currently leads the way about 5 minutes, or 4 minutes in. Still 8 minutes to go. And the top 10 go through to the shootout, and on the bubble right now is Spivey, 1.5 seconds to the leader. Of course, the track will continue to ramp up in grip as we go on. Good to have you with us tonight. I'll bring up the chat window so I can see if anyone says anything. We've got, well, there's Nicholas Gregg just going straight to the top and then being pipped immediately by Nick Mello. This is the 22nd race of the championship, the last one for the single driver regular season, before we go to Bathurst in 4 weeks for the Bathurst 1000. Entry is still open for that, by the way. If you want to go to the our Discord server, you can get there by going to velocityrl.com. And you'll be able to sign up for the Bathurst 1000, which is 4 weeks away now, Saturday, 2nd of October. This qualifying session is around a tight circuit. It's one of the shorter ones as well that we visit. Only 1 minute 10 lap times or so. 1 minute 8.3 is the fastest time, as you can see up there. Right now. Good to see Deep Marath as well, by the way, back in the field. He currently sits second, and they're hoping to pull off the Constructors' Championship. There's a car around, that's Nick Goonan, and he's just getting going again, so away he goes back down the hill. Kelly is around at the first corner. That's a ugly place because it's just at the exit of the pit lane. There's Nick Mello, doesn't have to run into Kelly there because he's gotten going again. Dylan Barton now goes to the top. Leads by about 1/10 of a second over Nick Mello, the VF Commodore. That could well be a powerful pairing, Barton and Rustley. Is Rustley in the server? I'm not sure if he is right now. No, it doesn't look like it. So, seems like just Dylan Barton representing that team tonight. Five minutes to go in this qualifying session. We're expecting a pretty long race of about an hour and a half or so. It'll almost definitely be the longest race of the season outside of Bathurst. We watch Barton make his way back into the pit lane. We'll just keep an eye on what sectors everyone's doing as this track continues to ramp up. Here is Riley Smith coming down the hill. Down onto the foreshore. Big left-hand hairpin, one of the few overtaking opportunities around this track, despite an abundance of straights. And coming down to the line now, where will he end up? He'll stay 8th fastest. So 108.884. There you go. We'll watch Max Spivey. Here he is now coming down that same hill. Narrow part of the track. They actually had to widen that when this track was first built in 2017, first put together. Because otherwise it would have been too narrow for the V8 Supercars. Around the last corner. And into the pit lane, which is fantastic for my broadcast, thank you. We'll go to Kelly here. Round the last corner, coming up to the line now. Where's he going to end up? Jump up for, just up one position, up to 15th. Thought he might jump up a couple more, but turns out he won't. Riley Smith up to 6th, gets a couple positions. Chris Refalo is somewhat languishing down in 7th at the moment, certainly a lot lower than where he'd usually expect to be. Barton, Mello, Rath, Murdock, Greg, Smith, Refalo, Callister, Meredith, Slow. Then Dulk, then Hill, Spivey, Oates, Childs, Kelly, Timperley, Goonan and Laws. Looks like 19 at the moment. So a little bit less than usual, but it's probably a good thing around a track like this, as narrow as it is and tricky to get past other cars. It's a short track as well. Chris Refalo doesn't improve yet. He went purple that last sector, but it all fell apart in the second. We'll go on board with him for a lap. This is up this amazingly massive rise, and there's a large bump on the apex of that second corner, and then it flows all the way down to Zahara Street. Staircase section, reminiscent of Adelaide. And then a long blast. This is a very tricky corner because it's the curves on the way in. It's difficult to get the car straight for braking. So there's a lot of brake modulation that's got to go on there. Now through the last corner, off camber on the exit, pushes you a little bit out towards the wall, and across the line, where will he end up? 2nd position. So things starting to heat up now. About 3/100ths of a second off. Deepa Rath, who's now at the top. Oh, he's nearly lost it coming through turn 2. And his sector 1 was the fastest so far. Nicholas Gregg beats them all and goes up to pole position. And Chris Refalo is going faster still. We're watching John Slow as he comes through. Last corner for John Slow, and he's a little bit wide there. I thought he might end up in the wall. He didn't quite, but across the line he will come, and 11th position for him. Now, we've got to wait and watch and see who comes across the line next. Chris Refalo, who goes top of the timing tower as the checkered flag comes out now to end this qualifying session. There goes Jared Kelly, and then Nicholas Gregg is next across the line. He will stay 2nd fastest. Dylan Barton goes straight to the top. Pole position for him provisionally with Chris Refalo's. I think he's still doing another lap. Yes, he is. Jack Callister up a few positions to 6th. It's doing well for him. It is a top 10 shootout, I suppose. So John Slow couldn't quite make it in. He was 11th. And here comes Oates, and then Josh Hill slides into the top 10. Mello and Rath trade positions, and here comes Nick Goonan up to 12th, not quite fast enough. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty familiar top 10 as it stands. Here comes John Slow. No, don't leave yet! My timing tower. So Refalo, Barton, Gregg, Mello, Rath, Callister, Murdock, Meredith, Smith, and then Josh Hill are your top 10. And they will take part in the shootout coming up next. .107.498, the fastest time. Is there a car doing? Yeah, shock, it's Nash Murdock. 107.498 is the fastest time, which is the fastest time all weekend actually. A 107.5 was the fastest of all. It's the red smoke coming from the back of that car. Off into the distance. We'll be back shortly with the top 10 shootout. Oh, back with the top 10 shootout now. As Josh Hill's the first car to come down. And he's got the windscreen wipers on for some reason. I imagine that might be hindering his view just a little bit. He's in VR as well, as he usually is. Oh, lights up the tyres. And trying to get them warmed up before he begins his lap. He's not got much time to warm them up either.
Yep, easy.
User joined your channel.
What?
What? I just like to let you know. 10 grip.
Huh?
Track's on 99% grip.
Ah, well. I think it's meant to be. So.
Will it go up?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Yeah. tell you, if it goes to 100%, I'm riding. All right.
Alright.
User left your channel.
And a little bit of an insight there. To the admin tensions. Josh Hill is the car we're watching. He qualified in 10th position. He's done a couple of shootouts before. This is him on the way back down Nobby's Road. And his car's been very squirmy all the way around. Probably on cold tyres. Coming up through the last corner. And blasting towards the line. What will his time be? 109.880, so far from ideal, that one. Don't imagine he's as happy as could be with that. So our fastest time was a 1:07.5. A fair way to go. Riley Smith coming across the line down into turn 1 now. Noah just in the chat lamenting the fact that Josh Hill just kicked him out of the shootout. Noah qualifies 11th position. Here's Riley Smith. He seems to have done a fairly clean lap so far. Down into the hairpin. I'll check his sector splits. It is a 13.9 and a 25.9, so both purple. Now on his way out the last corner, Riley Smith to the line. What will his time be? It'll be a 109.1, so about 7/10 faster than Josh Hill. As Jack Meredith is next to go. I'll just quickly take the opportunity to throw the sound up a tiny bit for the benefit of you guys. Updated sound mod for these. If you haven't downloaded the V8's Corsa sound mod, then I highly recommend it. Oh dear. Oh, I thought that there might have been some dodgy steering, no. Excuse me. It's just trying to warm it up and doing a full spin around to try and warm up the tyres. I'm not sure if that was intended or not, but we'll certainly get some heat into them. Down to the last corner now. To the line. High stakes for this session. It's 100% damage, so you can barely brush the wall. Otherwise, you're going to be in a fair bit of trouble. Oh, he's close there. Just managed to turn around it. And now up to turn 2. Over that crest and a bit squirmy on the way back down it. Nash Murdock is coming out. He's going to be the next one to go. Maybe one of these will give me an actual lap time. No, apparently not. Alright, well you have to stick with my reading of the sector splits. You can go to velocityrl.emperorservers.com/live-timing and see that for yourself. But it's a good second sector from Jack Meredith, 25.532. 25.947 was Riley Smith, second sector. As coming to the line, this will probably go pole. There it goes, a 108.442. So first in the 8s in the shootout. I'm quite happy with it, I imagine. He leaps over the turn 2. Oh, I forgot about that from last year. You can just take that hill that's at the apex of the second corner and absolutely fly over the barriers into the Pacific Ocean out there. I wasn't quite expecting it. Nash Murdock is the next car, and as he has done on the last couple of street circuits, a little bit of a slide on, since Townsville I think, has a slightly tweaked livery. About the ruby red on it. Seems good so far. It's a 13.9 in the first sector, which is about 6 tenths off what Jack Meredith did. Although that might be, yeah, that's on his outlet in lap when he just sent it up the hill. Now down to the last corner. A little bit blind on this one. We'll see what his lap time is as he comes across the line. It's a 1:09 flat. So, well, there you are, 6 tenths behind Jack Meredith. So Meredith, Murdock, Smith, Hill. That is the shootout order so far, with 4 cars having done it. Jack Callister is taking his sweet time and wants to delay this race as much as possible, it seems. Two warm-up laps would be fun. I think a lot of drivers would much prefer that because it's so difficult to get them up to optimal temperature. It's not impossible in one lap of this Newcastle East Street circuit. Across the line he comes, down into the first corner. Grabs a lot of curb and just glances the tyre barrier on the exit. Now watch him come up the hill towards the second corner. Well wide of the apex. HQ Holden's had a race earlier today, and the lower power cars can afford to run right to the apex of that corner, but not these ones because it's so easy to lose the car. It was a little wide there in that second part of the staircase section. 25.9 is his middle sector. 9.74 to be precise. So pretty decent. He seems on par with where Riley Smith is, and I predict him to end up about third. So we'll see how his last sector is. Across the line. A second, there you go. 108.815. And he seems alright with that. Just behind his teammate, ABR 1 and 2, first team. And one of the drivers for their second team is in fourth as well. Deep Rath now coming to the line, good to see him back. Of course, he'll be partnering up with Chris Refalo for Bathurst, the team that won it last year. Turns in very early for that first part of the downhill run. Nice and flowing that, and there's a big stop at the end. Cars are on the edge of grip, and it is possible to put a pass on down at turn number 7, bottom of the hill there. Now, this is again at the cars on the edge of grip as you come into the hairpin. Their second sector is a 25.569. So I don't think it's purple, but it's certainly very quick, and I'd imagine he's close to going pole position here. Deep Marath across the line, and he does go pole by about 2 tenths of a second. So 108.263 is his time. As next to go is Nick Mello. Car number 4, Project 4. don't want to lose the car into the wall when you're trying to heat up the rear tyres by stamping down on the throttle. Very embarrassing. But I don't imagine it's too difficult to do. Through the first corner, oh, a lot of curb. I think it was very close to hitting the tyre bundle. The tyre bundle on the inside is solid and it fires you out straight into the runoff area. But it can certainly do a bit of damage. Refalo, Barton and Greg, so I think in that order, yeah, Greg, Barton and then Refalo is your the next 3 cars to come out. Didn't quite get all the way to the right, did Nick Mello there for the corner. Purple middle sector, so 25.402, the 13.872 first sector, so I think he could be on for pole position here. Coming down across the line, it's going to be close. It is very close indeed, 0.045 that Nick Mello will beat out Deep Marath by. For provisional pole position, Nicholas Gregg is his teammate, car number 18, and next to try his hand. Away he goes on his lap. Very clean first corner. It's a good point actually, Nick Bello managed to do that lap while brushed the outside wall. So he seems to take a lot of well, it's what you would usually say a lot of the curb, but it's not a curb, it's kind of just a rise at the apex of the corner. Only green in the first 2 sectors, but oh, big lockup, you could hear that under his car, and he ran wide down at the hairpin. Coming through the last corner onto Wharf Road, the main straight, and I think that's going to cost him a fair bit. See where he ends up, only 4th fastest, so 1:08.579. 3/10 off, so yeah, could have been on for a very good lap, if not pole position outright. Here's Dylan Barton for Team Sim XP. They've got a very good looking livery. And not a real brand in sight, I don't think. It's just the knockoffs of other brands like Super Flog Auto and Spaghetti. So it would work well in a world where you don't want lawsuits coming your way. Only 4 in the top 10, that's a very good point, Nash Murdock. We don't have the standings as all the manufacturers, I apologise. That'll be back to that list. But yeah, we have 2 Nissans and then the rest are Holdens. One of them, or 2 of them are VFs. And the rest are ZB Commodores. Here's Dylan Barton, and he seems to be on a pretty good one. It was a 26.0 middle sector. He had a quick first sector, but not quite as quick in the second, and he'll only go 5th fastest. So that's someone who originally qualified second and has lost out in the shootout. Dropped 4 positions even. Chris Refalo, championship leader. He can clinch the championship today. All he has to do is beat Nicholas Gregg, and even then, if he finishes on the podium, then he will seal the championship before going to Bathurst, which I guess is a nice thing to do. Still that incredibly tiny gap at the front, only 0.04 of a second, as Chris Refalo rotates his way through the staircase. That seems to be where the most time is won or lost, and it was a purple second sector, so very quick indeed. Now through the last corner, lit it up out of there. Oh, sorry, the penultimate corner. Then this is the last corner. And coming to the line, is it going to be pole position? Yes, by 0.4 of a second. So car number 4 is beaten. Car number 4 from Project 4 is beaten by 0.444 for the pole position, with Chris Refalo beating out Nick Mello. And then behind them is Deep Marath, Jack Meredith, Nicholas Gregg, then Dylan Barton in 6th, Jack Callister, Nash Murdock, Riley Smith and Joshua Hill. So that's your top 10 shootout. All done and dusted, and we will be back for the race in about 4 minutes time, I think, 5 minutes. Gotta get rid of the stuff. There we are. Welcome back to Newcastle. We're about 2 minutes away from the race start, as we look down Wharf Road towards the starting grid, where it is Chris Refalo on pole position once more, the current championship leader, and hoping to hold the championship as well for the second consecutive season. And he can claim it today. It's Chris Refalo, Nick Mello, Deep Marath, Jack Meredith, Nicholas Gregg, Dylan Barton, then Jack Callister, Nash Murdock, Riley Smith, Joshua Hill. And then from there, it's Noah Dendulk, Nick Goonan, John Slow, Max Spivey, Justin Oates, Aaron Timpley, Lee Childs, Jared Kelly, and Craig Laws. 19 cars in attendance this evening. It's good to have them all along. This is going to be an interesting first corner. Don't tune out, because it's going to be absolute carnage this first lap. I can tell you that much. But as we look down on the starting grid there, waiting for the lights to turn on. The problem is look at how tight it is, first off. The track kind of jinks to the right before it narrows up, and then jinks to the right before going out to the left. There's a big tyre bundle there, which can fire you into another car going down towards the escape road. And then, of course, you have the second corner as well, with that big hill. So if someone outbrakes themselves, then it can be fairly easy to leap across another car. Lights are coming on now. And we're away for the last race of the regular season. Chris Refalo has not moved and copped it up the arse from Nicholas Gregg, who's gone into the side of Nash Murdock. And there's already cars everywhere down into the first corner. We didn't even get to turn one. Nash Murdock is around. Justin Oates is caught up in it. They're trying to get going again, while as we follow the cars coming up the hill. It looks like they're all staying straight there at least. Gee whiz, chaotic start to this one now. Has the safety car come out? I think it has, yes. Ooh, I better do the thing. Sorry, it looks like I have to do that.
Yeah, I don't have the admin button for it yet.
So just give me a yell when it's coming back in. So yeah, safety car out on lap 1 for what I hope are pretty obvious reasons with that first corner part, not even first corner pile up.
So Wrath is asking if we're able to restart the race because Chris didn't load in fully.
No, it's just the way it goes, I guess.
Alright, easy. I'll let him know.
User left your channel.
Safety car is at the bottom of this hill, so just keep an eye out. So there you are, they're all now starting to collect up on the safety car. Mello, Barton, Smith, Gregg, Dundalk, and then Rath, Hill, Spivey, Callister, Timpley, Kelly, Childs, Goonan, Oates, Laws, Refalo, and Murdock. That is the order as it stands now. Murdock and Refalo are the two elephants in the room there. Chris Refalo is well down.
Alright, I'll come in next lap, so pull it in when we're at the top of the hill, I reckon, or just getting down.
Yep. Right.
Because Caleb and I figured out you have to do it before we get to Sector 3, otherwise the light won't go out.
Alright. Josh Hill springs up to the lead. No, he doesn't. So that's an oddity. Under safety car, lap 2 rather. And I don't imagine it'll be the first appearance, or the only appearance, I should say. It's definitely the first appearance of the safety car. Nick Mello leading them across the line to complete the second lap. Dan G is our safety car driver, as he always is. and does a good job of it. So thanks very much to him. As we watch them come up the hill now, this is the going to be the last lap on the safety car.
I'd say pull it here just to be safe.
Yep. Safety car is going to peel off now, and the cars are going to be kept on for quite a bit, it seems. Nick Mello now having control of the pace as they come down the hill. As we get ready for the restart here at Newcastle. You kind of saw this.
I'm in pit lane.
Safety car in the pits, and we are just about ready to go for the restart. Nick Mello floors it out in the last corner, and away he goes with Jack Meredith hounding him. Through the first corner, and it's going to be Mello, Meredith, Barton, Smith, Greg, Dundalk, with Meredith looking around the outside. Mello went to the inside to try and get defensive on him, which he defends it nicely, squeezes Meredith out into a position where he can't get past and can't stay alongside coming down this hill. Refalo's already picked off Nash, Murdock and Craig Laws, so working his way from the back of the field. And we'll keep an eye on him, because as it stands right now, Nicholas Gregg still has a chance in the championship fight. Nicholas Gregg is currently sitting in 5th position. Actually, does he? I think he does. Callister's moved past Spivey. 9th and 10th those two are. We'll go to the intervals times and see what close battles we have got coming up. So turn 1 is a much of an overtaking opportunity, unless you're very brave. Here comes Nicholas Gregg up the inside. Riley Smith. It's a good place to set up a move, as you can see there, with a couple of moves going on. Riley Smith and Noah Dundalk make contact, and that allows Deep Marath to run around the outside. Joshua Hill's getting involved there as well. Side by side are Smith and Rath making contact as they come down, and it's going to be Riley Smith who wins out that one thus far. Deep Marath has got the inside though, and now the outside for this corner, so he's trying to swing it all the way around there, and he's got it done. Riley Smith gives him plenty of space, and that is for 5th position. So big train of cars forming here with that little pack up at turn 2, as we are on lap 5 of 76 here. Going to be heading for a long one tonight. Side by side, you can see in the background is Hill and Dundalk. These two were the ones who fought over 10th position in qualifying earlier, which is the ticket into the shootout. Squeezed out there was Dundalk, and I'll have to settle for 8th right now with Callister up behind him. Refalo is already up into 12th position, getting past Lee Childs, with Aaron Timperley up ahead. Aaron Timperley actually having a pretty good race in 11th. And Refalo absolutely hounding him. You can see him right up behind there. Gives them a little bump as they come out of turn number 9. Now back down the hill towards the hairpin. Oh, has to be careful. And he's lining up a move. Can't quite get it done, can he? Yes, he does actually. That swings in his favour. And gets the clearance on him before the final corner. The tail of the car squirmed out a bit there, but Refalo is up into 11th position with Max Spivey, his next target. Now, this is an interesting battle going on up here between Dylan Barton and Nicholas Gregg. With Gregg looking down the inside, he's going to make a move, taking advantage of a mistake up at turn 2, which is so easy to make, especially with that rise. But it's so narrow and so low grip through that run down the hill that it's easy to, or it's difficult to make a pass. Lap 7 now of 76. You're watching Nicholas Gregg, who is currently sitting second in the V8 Supercars Championship. We'll go back on Refalo watch here because this is Max Spivey just up ahead. Grabs the curb and it doesn't quite grab the run that he needs to make the move here at turn 2. No, too far back. 0.3 of a second separate those two. Gaps are starting to form a bit. Must be quite difficult to follow cars, especially through this section. So aero dependent and everything. Refalo makes it past Spivey. That would have been at turn number 7. So up into 10th with Jack Callister the next target. 0.6 of a second separate Callister and Dulk. So Refalo has the ability to, or the opportunity to pick up a few more positions here. Let's catch up to those two. Barton was quite a bit faster than Nicholas Gregg on that lap, and now Gregg is going after Jack Meredith. Oh, Nicholas Gregg has lit it up coming out of the last corner and spun it round, and it grabbed a bit too much curve, I think, on the inside there, and spun himself out of 3rd position. Now he's got a fair way to catch back up to where he was before, with Josh Hill ahead of him. Then Dulk had a little look down the inside. A bit of damage on the front of that Project 4 Holden Commodore as well. Oh, Dulk was sliding all the way down the hill with Jack Callister just behind, and just behind him is Chris Refalo, the championship leader, who's looking at Jack Callister. He was held up a bit by that mistake from Noah Dulk. A lot of wheel spin to Chris Refalo. And now on his way down the hill, going to, well, Callister kind of just let him pass there, it seemed. He is known to do that sometimes if someone's a lot quicker than him, just make it easy for them. Yeah, I'm not going to bother fighting this. But Callisto down into 10th now. Nicholas Gregg gaining on Josh Hill on lap 11. He had a little spin earlier. Old Lee Child straight into the wall at turn 1. And he's got to reverse his way out of there. Took a little bit of time to find reverse. And away he goes. 16th for him. He's dropped a couple of positions as a result of it. Nash Murdock, who came from the back, he is up into 13th and is now going after Aaron Temperley. Remember, he was one of the cars around at the first turn. Before the first turn, he needs to be careful about getting up the inside there. It wasn't really going to happen. Now chance for a massive dive up the inside, too far in, and he spun it round. Managed to avoid the wall, which is pretty impressive, but had it all locked up going in there, and we'll have to try another day. He's dropped 2 positions out of it as well, which isn't ideal. We'll watch Nicholas Gregg as he comes up towards turn 2, too far back for a move, I think. Deep Wrath is into the wall at turn number 2, and Josh Hill has gone with him. Noah Dendulk is down the escape road as well, because there's a car in the wall at the top of turn 2 and they're all running unsided into him. Nick Goonan as well. Deep Marath has dropped a number of positions down into 15th as a result of that. So with car after car coming up there, Lee Childs has managed to avoid it. First one too. How costly little mistakes like that can be around here when you can struggle to find your piece of racetrack to come back out onto. You can see him frantically trying to reverse back up the escape road. Watch Nicholas Gregg actually. His next car is Riley Smith with Chris Refalo just behind. We'll check the... We'll keep an eye on the standings as well because... What, 2262... Well, here's Nicholas Gregg down the inside of Riley Smith and he's going to make the move stick pretty easily. Up in the 4th for him. Now it looks like... Well, Nicholas Gregg has just made that move, which potentially takes him back into a championship contending position with Jared Kelly, who must have had an off down at the first corner, trying to get going again. And now has to yield to a number of lapping cars. I'd say it's pretty safe to assume that Chris Refalo is going to wrap up the championship today if it keeps going like this. The Constructors' Championship is far from done though. .45 points only separate first and second in that, which HKS times B&H Racing, and Project 4 Holden, having a better show of things because of Mello and leading the race and Nicholas Gregg in 4th, with HKS having both cars nearly at the back at one point. Rath and Refalo. Dylan Barton we're on board with. He's having a look at second placed Jack Meredith, who's doing quite well for himself actually. Up there. He has got quite a gap to Nick Mello, who's running away with this race a little bit. About 6 seconds now. That Dylan Barton could get past. We'll see if he can attack a little bit more. Pretty short pit lane here. It's quite a quick transit time, so we could see a fair few pit stops from some cars. Refalo has gotten past Riley Smith while we're watching these two. And that, I imagine that was down to vehicle. $225 points on offer for today's race. It's one of our longer ones, 200 kilometres and 76 laps, so about an hour and a half long. So we'll award a few more points for it. With Nick Mello currently on the track to take full points, but it's still a long way to go. About 60 laps or so. These cars are going to be following one another for quite a while, you'd imagine. We'll go a little bit further back to Jack Callister on the back of Riley Smith. Jack Callister is driving with the second place man, Jack Murdock, for Bathurst in 4 weeks' time. That'll be our next V8 Supercars race, the last one of the championship. It's a good chance to go through some of the pairings while we watch these small battles unfold. In fact, there's a bit of a train further behind Snowden and Rook here, with Goonan and Murdock simply wrapping up that line. Got to kind of have eyes everywhere here. Josh Hill could potentially be able to make a move here. A little bit of a slide and back down the hill. Goonan has gotten past Dundalk. Meantime, Joshua Hill is right up behind Max Spivey. As I was going to say, it's a good time to have a look at some Bathurst 1000 bearings record with Josh Hill, who's driving with Matthew Richards, who has a second place in the Bathurst 1000 from last year to his name already, driving with David Thornton then. So a good man to have on board for him. There must have been a mistake from Riley Smith, because now Jack Callister is just behind, so we'll just cut away from this battle because they're coming up towards turn 2, which is the prime overtaking spot. Riley Smith is going to be with Kane Turner. Kane Turner, unfortunately, not here tonight, though. Ooh, there's a car in the wall. That's Craig Lawes, their Qantas liveried car. And he does get going again with everyone. Well, there's 10 seconds to the next car, so... No one much about that. Also keeping an eye on Meredith and Barton up there. Big dip in the road coming into that last corner. You can see the car right over it. Drop over it. The gap now is about 1.1 seconds from Meredith and Barton. Have plenty of you along for tonight. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe, and then we can you'll be able to keep up to date with everything that goes on in Velocity Racing League, all our live streams, and hopefully some more video content coming next year. Perhaps some highlights as well. Stuff. If you're on Twitch, make sure you're following over there as well. Barton is the first car to pit, apart from Jared Kelly, by the way, who's also pitted. But there's Dylan Barton, so coming out of third position, and he'll get going again. Joshua Hill finally got past Max Spivey. And Barton's going to slide out ahead of both of them, so about 9 seconds to Jack Callister. Now, how does the rest of the field react to that? It's a pretty big name to have come in this early. This is not the car I wanted. I wanted Jack Callister because he's pretty close to Riley Smith here. Visit New South Wales? No, not a good idea right now. I shouldn't say that, I'm in Victoria, it's not much better here. Oh, we grabbed the wall, did Riley Smith there. And Jack Callister's going to take full advantage of it coming up the hill. Up into 5th place. And he'll make the move stick, so very easy to make a small mistake like that when the walls are so close as they are on this street circuit. That's where you'll find most moves will come from. Nick Goonan is around turn 2. It's going to have to be a lot of heads-up driving from drivers tonight because that is a blind corner. There's quite a few blind corners where there can easily be a car around or in the wall. Do your best to avoid them. Chris Refalo pits now. He's in fourth position. Dylan Barton's already well gone, so you can see Refalo pulled up a little bit early for his box and had to stamp down on the loud pedal again to keep going. Down to reach it. Noed and Dulk we're watching here behind Max Spivey, who's doing alright for himself actually in 8th position. Refalo is still dropping down the field and he's finally going in 15th. Must have put a lot of fuel in and has to follow down the inside of the first corner. Yeah, because Barton came... Well, he's 6th at the moment, is Barton. And there wouldn't have been that big of a gap between him and Refalo. As big as it is now. So a lot of time lost. At 24 of 76, we're about a third of a way through this race. I think it's about 25 minutes completed or so. And that's with the safety car as well, so... Actually, a bit of a quicker race than we were expecting. Nicholas Gregg right up behind Jack Meredith. You'd imagine these two aren't far off pitting either. There is a chance... Well, Chris Refalo is definitely going for a 2-stop. Oh, he might have been fixing damage from before. That's probably why. When he got hit up from behind. Oh, but then wouldn't you fix that earlier? Come straight into the pits if you're going to be near the back anyway. Nicholas Gregg grabbed a lot of curb and just hurt his momentum. And as we come down towards the first corner, right up behind, about 0.3 of a second. Deep Morath in the pits as well, he's 16th. As we watch this battle for second place, Nick Mello has extended his lead out to 14 seconds. So just driving very comfortably out there. Oh, giving him a bump and served him, and he's gone around as Jack Meredith. So tries to get going again with Jack Callister now passing. And Riley Smith as well. And he's finally going again, 5th place, so that'll probably mean a penalty to Nicholas Gregg. He's not got many penalties, to be fair to him. This would be one of very few. Nick Goonan had an incident in the middle of the staircase, I think it was earlier on. And Justin Oates was caught up in the first corner accident. And doesn't look to have recovered since. We'll actually keep an eye on Jack Callister because he's only 5/10 behind Nicholas Gregg after that. Earlier, so another ABR car going on Nicholas Gregg. Meredith, I think he might have had a crash at turn 2. Perhaps spun it round. His name flashed red for a moment. And away he goes again. Into the pits. Craig Laws is out of the race, which I didn't notice before. Oh, Chris Refalo into the wall at turn 1, and the car's got to be careful about getting around him. And he's down to 13th, so not a good race at all for the HKS boys when they're in a tight Constructors' Championship battle. And as it stands right now, the championship is going to go on for another race. And there's a slim chance that Nicholas Gregg could still win it. 450 points he sits on. I think he's... Let's see who else is in the race. Well, Jack Callister could potentially pull it off as well. So he's 28 points behind Nicholas Gregg, who's 505 behind Chris Refalo when we went into this race after our last round of Krakowi. There's a car to watch back here, Dylan Barton. And could have a move on Jack Meredith here. Oh, he has to be careful. Meredith came across him and Dylan Barton. Had his nose where it probably shouldn't have been. They continue on. So a bit of a redress and off they go once more. which is the right way to do redresses. Up Watt Street, over what's meant to be a set of tram tracks actually, which they fill in for the race. Oh, in the back of him again, and getting a little bump, and now he's going to try and take advantage of it. Coming down the hill, side by side they run. Meredith gives him the space. It's Barton on the inside. And is he going to get it done? It does look so. Oh, lit up the throttle on the way out, but Meredith couldn't take advantage of it. Ended up right in his way. And across the line. There you go. Now, Nick Mello is only 5/10 ahead of Nicholas Craig. Is he pitted? That might explain it. Yeah, he has. So, that's the reason why there's such a tight gap between those two. It's probably 4-1-2 right now. With that probably going to change, I imagine Dylan Barton will find his way back up. Leads with Greg Callister. Smith, Barton, Meredith, Hill, Murdock, Spivey and Denduk. Refalo currently sits 11th. Dietmar Rath is 16th and a lap behind the next car. So, a long way to go for those two. Especially with the championship, the team's championship so close. Barton really starting to pull away now from Meredith here, so we'll go and have a look further back. Here's Justin Oates having a go on Aaron Timperley for 13th position. So those big bumps down into the last corner. It's probably the only place, one of the only places on the track where there are street circuit style bumps, which you have to contend with. The ice first corner. Just clip the curb. It's a conversion from R factor 2, so the curbs are quite a bit higher than the cars can really, too high for the cars in the Assetto course to really use. Except in some places like there, and at the first corner, and at the hairpin. Oh, grab the wall on the inside to Oates, and he's losing a bit of time now to Timperley. Right up behind him before Jack Meredith is in the pit lane, and dropping out of the field because of it. He's currently 9th, and will stay there. There's a big gap forming at the edge of the top 10, with 27 seconds between Meredith and Dundalk. No, excuse me, it's updated now, 3.1 seconds. I thought it looked a little odd. But there's a wide range of skill levels here, which means that as Chris Refalo's back into the pit lane. There's a wide range of skill levels, which means that most people are near someone. If they push themselves, they should be able to catch up. Josh Hill is the latest to pit, out of 6th position. Seems to be having an okay race. Max Spivey doing quite well. We watched Justin Oates bowl it a little bit wide. They're 11th and 12th now, as it turns out. And Jared Kelly looks to be out of this one as well, but is just watching on. Josh Hill and Max Spivey going at it here. There might have been a moment just before from Spivey, which Josh Hill is now taking advantage of. Excuse me, the other way around. Tell you what, there's another couple of guys to keep an eye on, because Dylan Barton is right up behind Riley Smith. Now, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Coming down through the staircase section and onto Nobby's Road. And gets the move done on Riley Smith down there. Sometimes it is safe to just let cars past. I'm not sure if that was the case there, but could well have been. Now, there's a train forming behind Josh Hill here, with Jack Meredith right there, right on the back of his stablemate, Max Spivey. And Josh Hill is starting to get away, so Meredith might be getting a little bit agitated here. Now pulls up alongside and gets the move done before the hairpin. With Noah Dundalk. Oh, Spivey's going for a big move. It looked like it. It was all the way over to the left and seemed to break fairly late. Car pitching. Now Dundalk is looking for a way past Max Spivey. Could it be up here at turn 2? Pulls off to the left, and has he got it done? It seems like he has to launch himself over that rise and gets it done. So 9th position for Noah Dundalk. The Max Spivey on the edge of the top 10 with Timperley and Oates behind. It's still close between those two. 11th and 12th you're watching here. Now Dundalk's already on the back of Jack Meredith, so I need to switch back to that for a moment. So that'll continue on. On board out the last corner, and a big slide for Jack Meredith, and a little grab of the wall for Noah Dundalk, so no advantage gained it seems. Lap 36 of 76. Still a fair way to go in this one. With pit stop strategies still yet to play out for a lot of drivers. As we are close to halfway distance. Dylan Barton on the back of Jack Callister. The gap is under a second now. And Barton's kind of been carving his way through the field on his way back up. He's also on nice fresh tyres. looked like he almost had the momentum to go for it up here, but couldn't quite do it. That Timperley Oates battle that we've been watching for a fair bit is heating up. And I think a move is about to be on between these two. This is for 11th position, as we keep an eye on... This is pretty much an exact replica, isn't it, between Barton and Callister. Barton locking up down the inside there. Callister ran it wide, and Barton still gets the advantage. 3rd place. Callister's got the inside though. And they're going to run side by side down towards the first corner. Barton pulls ahead. He'll take the podium position. Oh, has there been an accident between Oates and Timperley? There might have been. Car number 5 was around at turn number 2. And now drops a couple of positions to 13th. Oates is 11th. Fine, a shout out to the Swab Discord there. Good on you. Here's your race leader, Nick Mello, for Project for Holden. The Nissan division no longer exists, as it turns out. Kind of fell apart about Sydney. He leads the race by 12.9 seconds over Nicholas Gregg, who... Is he still yet to pit? He seems so. So Dylan Barton's the next car, who's 18 seconds behind this race leader. That is Goonan off at turn number 2, and he's had a coming together with that wall again, and had to just get out of the way of Nicholas Gregg, who is up behind Dietmar Rath, who is 16th position, clawing his way back. He could well be on... Oh, Chris Refalo's gone onto the wall as well at turn 2. And it rains at pause for these lot. Just trying to reverse out. Rath is trying to claw his way back to the next car. 54 seconds, but I think he can overturn it. And it's Dietmar Rath who is 16th with Chris Refalo 15th. So, massive blow to their Constructors' Championship hopes. When you have Project 4 Holden 1 and 2 as well. So it looks like they're going to lose the team's championship lead for the first time since, well, I think since the start of the season. Yep, since round 1. 291 points was Aussie Brand Racing 1. And this team was second on 255. And then quickly overtook and stayed in the lead for the rest of the... Oh, Goonan dropped a couple of positions. Stayed in the lead for the rest of the season thus far. And looks like they're about to lose it going into the last race at Bathurst. 450 points on offer for that one. So, a big chance to overturn a championship for either side. And it's pretty safe to say whoever wins that one has got a really good chance of winning the championship. Nicholas Gregg is into the pit lane with Jack Callister as well. And he rolls away. Out in 4th position, it's Mello, Barton, Smith and Gregg. That's top 4. We're past halfway now. Looks like Nicholas Gregg is on the one stop. 24.4 seconds in the pit lane there. Getting past Spivey, that's a lapped car. Spivey's found his way into 15th somehow. Through what I can only assume is a number of mistakes. He's not a big fan of this track at the moment. Dylan Barton made an early pit stop and now pits once more. And it seems like his strategy might even be three stops. Which is on the extreme other end of the scale. Riley Smith is just behind him. Away he goes, one lap after Nicholas Gregg did his first pit stop. Dylan Barton's done his second. Is that Gregg in the wall in the background? I think it might have been. Which isn't ideal when you've just started your stint. And be careful not to get too eager, especially if your tyres aren't quite up to temperature yet. Look at that lead, 39 seconds. Refalo down 13 positions, Rath down 13 positions, and pretty much everyone's benefited because of it. Oates and Timperley are the best performers, up 5 each. Oh, so is Josh Hill. Up 5 positions as well from his starting grid spot of 10th. Nash Murdock is into the pits, so that's one more for Josh Hill. We have got 43. We are 43 laps in. And 33 to go now. So still a long way in this one. I'm mucking about with the timing here. I should leave it at intervals because that's the best way to see where the battles are happening on the track. Like Riley Smith and Jack Meredith here, 0.8 of a second between them, and Nicholas Gregg and Dylan Barton are less than a second between them. Rath is out of the race. There you are. Well, it's going to put an even bigger dagger in the heart of those championship standings. He was on for how many points do he get? Oh, Refalo is out at turn number 1 again. So you get 36 points for 16th place and 42 for 15th. Refalo gets it going again. No, I didn't do a couple behind Nash Murdock here. Murdock having an okay race actually. He did very well at Book Go and currently sits 8th position. In the championship standings he is in 10th. About 100 points off of Chris Refalo, who is not here tonight, as it turns out. He's between two people who aren't here. So he can get a fair few points out of that. Now, this is Riley Smith looking around the outside of his teammate Jack Meredith, and they both make their own mistakes. I think Riley Smith got a little bit spooked by Meredith losing it there and ended up driving all the way off to the right. And there he goes. Aaron Timperley out down at the that staircase section. You want to be careful actually. I'll show you. This track's not greatly done. If you go off to the left here, then there's a nice little escape road. But the problem is, if you go too far down it, then it's really difficult to get back on because half the road is raised from the rest of it. Really strange. Watching Nicholas Gregg 0.6 of a second behind Dylan Barton, who has 37 seconds to Nick Mello. He is absolutely flying out front. So quick. On another level today. And these two could be on for a 1-2 here, which is definitely a good confidence builder. They're paired up for Bathurst. And obviously, as I've mentioned many a times, the team standings. But also Nicholas Gregg still has a chance at the championship, especially if Refalo's not going to pick up that many points today. If Nicholas Gregg ends up second, and he's in a championship fight where he's just tagging in there, team orders? I don't know. I hope not, but sometimes that's the game that can be played. Mello has pitted once. Dylan Barton has actually been pretty on it all race, but he's excuse me. Dylan Barton has pitted twice so far, and it looks like Mello on for a one stop. I think he might be. Nicholas Gregg definitely is. But I don't think you lose 35 seconds anyway in the pretty short pit lane here. Riley Smith is sizing up another move on Jack Meredith a little bit further up the road. Could it be on for a move down here at turn 2? It's a long way back and too far back. And he just ends up grabbing that rise and losing the back end a little bit out of it. A few cars in pretty close battles here. Only 15 cars running. This place is a bit of a killer, isn't it? Jack Callister down the inside of Josh Hill. That's for 4th position. And I can see them swapping places once more. Oh, Deep Marath had a scheduled power outage tonight. There you go. So, not ideal. Riley Smith right up behind. Well, there didn't Meredith needs to be careful. So does Riley Smith, who went up the back of him. And just needs to wait it out through this section. Here's your opportunity down at the hairpin. I think he's too far back. It's very difficult to go for a big dive. Oh, but he's going to try it anyway. Too far down the inside, I think, and he's going to push him out wide. It won't develop into anything, it seems. He had... His car was almost all the way over the curb, not quite though, so I think it's barely a legal move. But now Nash Murdock going to try his luck. It's a move I'd expect the other way around actually. But those two will be in a chat together and be probably yelling at one another. Lap 50 of 76. We've still got 27 laps to go. And so you'll be sticking with us for probably about a half hour. There's Nash Murdock down the inside now of Jack Meredith, and he's going to get the move done at the same place Riley Smith did earlier. But a little bit cleaner this time, no contact involved. Meredith down 2 positions in 2 laps to 8th now, with Justin Oates, who has somehow found himself in 9th, but he's still 31 seconds back. So a few big gaps forming in that field, especially at the front. Nicholas Gregg, I don't know how long he's been following behind Dylan Barton, but must be getting blimmin' sick of his rear bumper. He's still managed to follow very closely though, 0.5 of a second between them. Nash Murdock is flying at the moment. He is 7th position. As Nicholas Gregg looking for a move around the outside of Dylan Barton. I don't think that's going to work. As I've mentioned before, this is the main opportunity, but it's quite difficult to pull off. Down at the hairpin here, so grip limited on the way in. Can't do it there. Car 88 and car 92 going at it. There is only 2 Fords in the field at the moment. And alright. Wow, the Fords really didn't like to show up. Sorry, there's 3, so Lee Childs and a Falcon. But yeah, Murdock is 7th, the highest ranked Ford, but he's surrounded by a bunch of Holdens. And he's actually up to 6th now, gotten past Riley Smith, while we're watching the battle for 2nd place. The gap has come down a bit between Mello and Barton, 29.8 seconds. Is that down? I think that's down. Nick Mello in the pit lane. There you go. So Nicholas Gregg has got to try and do what he can to battle Dylan Barton. There's a bit of lap traffic which is going to favour Nick Mello, unless he comes out right in the middle of it. We'll see, his rivals might need to cut through it. Here's Nick Mello in the pit lane, out he goes, and it sounds like he's going to lose the lead. He does, down into 3rd place. So he's dominated most of the race, but Dylan Barton now leads the race with Nicholas Gregg just behind. There's 2 lapped cars ahead, Goonan and Timberley. And Oates wouldn't be too far up the road either. So he's got a fair bit to worry about in front and behind as the race leader, Dylan Barton, kind of a 92.14 Civic XP. Hill pits out of 5th position. Okay, here's the first lapped car to get past. Nick really needs to try and stay out of the way. He's going to stick to the outside. Nicholas Gregg is going to try and take advantage, but really at his own risk. But they both get through the first one, alright. Now Nick Mello's going to do it. 3rd position. Only 700ths of a second separated those two. Nicholas Gregg ever so slightly faster on that last lap. Now there's a chance for a move here to Nona Quote. They're going to be careful about the other lapped car ahead, which is Aaron Timberley. these two splitting up this battle for 10th place. In the meantime, you'll imagine once Tinkley yields, and then they'll be back together again and that battle can review. It's just on hold for now. Ooh, Tinkley grabbed the wall there and now he's got the chance to yield. So let's both Barton and Greg through. 0.3 of a second separate them. You can see it on track. Have a look from behind as they come down Wharf Street. Wharf Street? Wharf Road. Now onto Watt Street. Watt Street? Watt Street. Timperley is past Goonan in the background. And, Meredith has done it off. That's coming down into the hairpin, so he might have locked the rears down there, which is, it's easy to lock up your tyres there. And he's stationary, his name flashed red. Next car is Justin Oates for these two to navigate past. And I tell you what, they've all had to get through 3-lapped cars. It's fairly difficult to get round-lapped cars here. But the gaps are remaining the same between the top three. 11 seconds to Callister between him and Mello, and then 11 seconds back to Murdock. So Callister really no man's land. Sometimes you get those periods in the race. About 56 of 76, about 20 to go. Round 13 of the Velocity Racing League V8 Supercars Championship. Race 22 of the season. Race 23 is of course the big one. Bathurst 1000 taking place in 4 weeks' time. And you'll see just about all of these names. As they take on the mountain. Entries are still open for that if you want to go to our Discord server. You go to velocityrl.com and then go and hit Discord on there and you'll be directed to see the... Ooh, this will be an accident here. You can go and sign up for the Bathurst 1000 there. This is Meredith and Hill, who I think had a coming together at the last corner, both in the wall, so... Looks like they're going again. It's still 0.4 of a second for the race lead. Nick Mello is right there and waiting. This is going to be quite a battle for the lead of the race here as we come towards the pointy end. Especially when it comes to the championship. Refalo still sits in 15th. This is a big chance for Nicholas Gregg to gain a lot of points, and anything can happen at Bathurst. So he could well take this back and win his second championship. Jack Callister sits in 4th. He's probably just about out of it now, but we'll have to calculate the points and see. You get 27 extra points between first and second, which can make a fair bit of difference. As I said, it was 28 points the gap between Project 4 Holden and HKS Thomas B&H Racing going into this race. And look at this, top 3, all within 7 tenths. Sharing one piece of road at Newcastle. And there's going to be a lot of patience here. Nicholas Gregg is going to pull alongside. Nick Mello will jump past him. Mello has a lot of pace tonight and can have a crack at the race lead, potentially Dylan Barton in his VF Commodore. He's leading the way, car number 92, being hounded by 2 Project 4 Holdings. Oh, it could be on already, actually. Look at how close Mello is behind. He's got so much pace. Around the outside, so Barton's on the inside going defensive, but he's a little bit wide on the exit, and now Mello has gotten the switchback move almost to perfection. Not quite though, because Barton's got the inside for turn number 13. It really allows for side-by-side battling that little section there. Mello has the advantage and he gets out ahead and will lead the race, as he has done for so many laps tonight. We're on lap 59 now, and Barton still has to fend off Nicholas Gregg. Dispatched him very easily, didn't Nick Mello? He's driving phenomenally well tonight. I'll tell you who is right now. Chris Refalo is still 15th position, and it seems that, yeah, kind of odd because he's all season you've seen him, he's been absolutely on it, and not the same way tonight. Now Barton, will he make the same mistake as last time? No, he doesn't. Slightly different situation. I think Nicholas Gregg was a little bit further behind. Yeah, maybe it's just little mistakes for Refalo that have ended up getting frustrated and never really getting in a proper rhythm. Now Nicholas Gregg has gone up the back of Dylan Barton, and Barton hit the wall because of it, so a little bit of damage sustained, but not too much drama out of that. I think Mello's gone. Already ran the next corner. It's a big jump. It's a big jump between second and third as well, with an extra 24 points on offer. Nicholas Gregg there, and we've seen it happen very often, and I can't imagine how many mirrors would have been lost there. Maybe next season we'll have helmets and race suits. I'm sure someone will have figured out that. Well, Dylan Barton has, because you can see it there. Lap 62 of 76 in the last regular race of the season here at Newcastle, and it's a fair it's going to be a long time until we see another one of these sorts of races again, so good luck, because V8 Supercars won't be back for a while yet. We've still got plenty to come. VRL in 2022 and over summer as well. Got another Australian Touring Car Championship that'll be coming up. We've got Formula 1 to come. There's been lots of discussions going on about NASCAR. Change the IndyCar as well. So yeah, North American expansion could be on the cards. They've lapped up to 8th position. There you are. So if you want to get involved, then you can jump onto the VRL Discord server. We're almost at 500 members for that. We are at, how many members? 471. It's grown exponentially recently. Looks like this battle is going to resume between Nicholas Gregg and Dylan Barton, one following another as Dick Mello. Straight away now the gap out to 5 seconds. So certainly putting on a show. He is lap 63 with what's Justin Oates now, who's going to have a go on Max Spivey. Clawed his way up to 11th, and Oates, oh sorry, no, that's Spivey ahead, never mind. So Spivey's actually made a mistake and hit the wall. Oates has gone past, and Goonan does as well. So down 2 positions as a result of that. Oates up to 11th, Goonan to 12th. They've still got plenty to play for in their own championship battles. Nick Goonan going to, well, he's still got a fair way to go, but he has a good chance to overtake Paddy Donnelly for 13th position, and then Max Spivey actually isn't too far ahead either. And Justin Oates is sitting 18th in the championship, with Gus Super, Noah Duduk ahead by about 40 points. Keep one eye on the battle up front, but here's Goonan up behind the Mercedes coloured Holden Commodore. Oh, he's grabbed the wall, and so a fair bit of damage, I'd imagine, sustained to the front of that car. Now, is there any sort of suspension? Yes, it looks like it, so that's a big shame for Nick Goonan. Nicholas Gregg has gotten past Dylan Barton, so it must have been a mistake down at the first corner, which means Gregg has gotten past. And up into 2nd place, which will do wonders for his championship hopes. Only about 10 to go now. 12 if you want to, sorry, now 11 if you want to actually be precise. As Mello has completed 65 laps of this short 2.64 kilometre circuit. And Nicholas Gregg's going to pull away from Dylan Barton. Looks like our podium might be set because Jack Callister is 14 seconds behind. Still languishing in no man's land, really. Got to be careful not to lose focus in this last 11 laps, because a mistake can put you under pressure. Nash Murdock 9 seconds behind, Riley Smith far behind him. The two drivers will absolutely put up a fight. Lee Childs on the back of Max Spivey now. He's not had a great race. Car number 73. He's teaming up with Paddy Donnelly for Bathurst, and they should be lost and grab the wall. They should have an alright time as well. He's going deep. He's hit Goonan. On Justin Oates, who we're also keeping tabs on. Jack Callister. Oh, there you have it. So he's made a mistake down at turn 2, and we'll see what the gap is to Nash Murdock when it updates. There you are, only 3.5 seconds, so stakes are quite a bit higher now. 2.1 seconds between Greg and Barton for second position. So that gap opening up, you'd imagine that top 3 is probably sorted. See him ahead now. Do a run through of the field in a moment, but here's Nick Mello, who currently leads the race by 7.8 seconds. He's led up for most of the race so far. Down into the hairpin. It's nice and smoothly. Doing well at driving consistently here. So this is the gap. There's Nicholas Gregg. Almost 8 seconds now. And Dylan Barton behind. Coming to the Newcastle Bridge towards turn 1 at the roundabout at Watt Street. And a long gap back to Jack Callister, even longer now. I'm surprised there's no lapped cars between them actually. There's the first one, Dendulk in 9th. Followed. No, sorry, Meredith was the first one to go. Was it? Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, it must have been, because that was Murdock, so... Yeah, excuse me, it was Meredith Dendulk, and then you saw Callister and Murdock and Smith. There goes Oates and Goonan, and they're very close to one another. Lee Childs in 12th. Max over there. Josh Hill in 7th. There's Aaron Timperley. There is Chris Refalo. Now, as we see, Nick Mello come through again. Now, Justin Oates, I think, has made a mistake because he's dropped a position now to Nick Goonan. And he's gotten himself all over that curb. Dylan Puncher. I don't think so. He's losing a fair bit of time. Now that was a while ago, that message actually, but still I don't think he did have a puncture. What do we got? Getting to the tail end of this race now, and the gaps pretty much down the field are about 3 seconds or so. So it's proving quite difficult to follow clearly. We've got on board Chris Refalo, who's the championship leader, and despite this race, he will remain the championship leader. Very close to the title last year. Riley Smith has had an accident at turn 2, like so many have, gone into the wall there. This is the biggest pack that's forming on the track. Only 15 cars tonight, which is probably good for a lot of drivers. Will be quite pleased with that, I imagine. Timperley less than a second, well just over a second now to Spivey, and then just less than a second to Refalo. This is the closest battle on track. It's over the last few positions as well. 13th, 14th and 15th. As Nick Mello now cracks the 10-second barrier with that lead over this group. Up 72 of 76. Up the hill, I have to say my gun's running fairly well tonight. Probably as a result of less cars and, well, let's say less detailed track, that's probably the best way to put it. So you're seeing this in mostly 50 FPS, which is nice. If anyone has a problem with if your online performance is completely atrocious compared to your offline performance, if anyone knows why that is, please let me know, because I'm desperate to find out. It's probably just your typical Assetto Corsa weirdness, but anyway. Aaron Timperley, we haven't seen much of him. He's been in the last couple of races. He's kind of gone unnoticed, so it's a good chance to see how he drives. And well, that's not a great example. So he's just grabbed the wall and he's being hounded by Refalo right up behind him. Can't pick up points. He could find his way into 13th position for Refalo and salvage a little more from this, which could end up being the difference. We'll see. He's going to concede a lot of points today. But there's a big gap between first and second, and well, there's Aaron Timperley. He lost it coming out of the last corner and now drops behind Chris Refalo. There's a lot of points difference between the top positions. Twilight stage of this race, lap 74 of 76, with Nick Mello continuing to lead 10.7 seconds and just cruising to the end. This is a big pack. There's the leader just behind this pack, with Timperley and Refalo now going at it, and just try and yield position at the same time. I think these guys are going 2 laps down now, which is kind of to be expected at such a short track, but in the long race as well. Mello's going to try and get past at least Timperley first. Keeps crossing. It's the late stages of the race, and he doesn't want to give up too much time to Chris Refalo. He's got to let him past. Mello's trying everything. He goes around the outside and he's got him. There you are. So that's all done. Chris Refalo. Well, I was going to say he should be able to give him up a little bit easier, but Refalo wouldn't have too much practice in yielding to blue flags, except maybe in qualifying. So we shall see. Chris Refalo on the back of Max Spivey now. Oh, he's had a big moment. They both have big moments, and Chris Refalo gets past up into 13th for him now. Nick Mello's going to start his final lap right in the middle of all of this. Now, what that means is that Refalo and Spivey's battle is going to go on for a fair bit. Oh, Justin Oates on the wall. And Justin Oates is now held last on the track. He's thrown away at the very last minute. 5 seconds behind Timpley, who could have a move on Spivey here. Because, well, Chris Refalo, if he can stay in front of Nick Mello, will have to do one more lap. I was going to say the Spivey and Refalo battle would continue on for another lap, but Spivey's now yielded to Mello, who's driven a fantastic race. He's been pretty much flawless. Two-stop strategy. He's going to come down towards the line, and he will win at Newcastle. The last single driver to win this season. Race 22 of the championship goes to Nick Mello. Nicholas Gregg, his teammate, championship rival of Chris Refalo, comes second. Dylan Barton does well for third after basically trying to hold off Nicholas Gregg for most of the race. Kellister is going to come across in fourth, 18.6 seconds behind, with Nash Murdock behind him. And then it's Riley Smith, Josh Hill, Noah Dundalk, and then Jack Meredith is actually very close behind him. Smith and Hill have got a fair way to go, it turns out. There goes Smith now. Across the line side by side with Goonan, who's 10th. Childs does well to recover to 11th. And Chris Refalo will be 12th. Here comes Josh Hill, 7th place. And championship leader, Chris Refalo, 12th. I think he'll... Oh, there's loose work as well. I think Refalo should still have this championship, but it would have been nice for him to... I'm sure he would have preferred to finish it up there. There's the finishing order. Mello, Greg, Barton, Callister, Murdock, Smith, Hill, Dundalk, Meredith, Goonan, Child, Refalo, Spivey, Timpley, Oates, Rath, and Laws. Rath and Laws DNF'd instead of Kelly. It's Nick Mello and Nicholas Gregg share a bit of time together. The Project 4 holding teammates. Next race is at Bathurst, of course. Saturday, October 2nd. Cancel all your plans and be there for that from 2:30 PM. Dude, Jack, for God's sake, if you're watching this, then I've just finished. I've not even finished the stream. Go away. The Bathurst 1000 is the next race. Be there for that. You can still sign up. VelocityRL.com. Off you go there. Nick Mello wins here. Then it's Nicholas Gregg and Dylan Barton. And there goes Nash Murdock who finished fifth. There'll be a lot of big names coming in for that next race. 4 weeks' time. Thanks very much for watching tonight. And we will see you at Bathurst.